Well, Chandler was early. He was anxious to get here, I guess. He was early, and we did not have a name picked out yet for him. And so that was a big deal because they kept coming to us and asking us, at the hospital what we were going to name him, and we didn't have a name for him yet. So it was really funny, and people were calling us, and we were like, we don't have a name yet. We hang up. But it was a very exciting time because Chandler was the first grandchild on Steve's side of the family that had dark hair, and my side too.
Yeah.
That had dark hair because we had all blondes in the family, and here he was, bouncing baby boy, So he was special from the start. So.
Yeah. At church, he, kids loved him and they were attracted to him, and you may see him come out of church. He maybe have one in his arms and one be hanging on his leg, and at the same time, he'd be going to his golf teacher that was 76 years old, shaking hands with him and telling him, how he was doing with his golf game.
On Wednesday night, before his accident had happened, he went to his youth leaders before youth group and asked them if he could speak to the group that night.
This is the same child who was very fearful of this.
Yeah, that did not. Normally, when they would come in from a youth group trip, how kids will go up and thank the church for sending them and tell them what their experience was. Well, he would always sit back on the pew, and I'd be anxious to see if he would get up because he was very outgoing with us and at school and stuff, but at church, he just would not get up there and speak. One-on-one, he invited kids and shared his faith with them, but we were just always surprised he wouldn't get up and speak. But he went to them that Wednesday night and asked if he could talk to the group, and he gave his testimony, and they were so stunned that he had come to them and asked, and he talked to them about meeting a crossroad in your life and making the right decisions about your life. And his youth leader said, I should have known something was coming from that. Our minister called us and told us that there had been an accident with Chandler on an ATV.
Yeah, he called us about 6:30, and of course we were floored because we didn't have ATVs because we knew how dangerous they were.
And it was a swim party,
It was a swim party. We didn't know ATVs were going to be there, and we're like, what's going on? So they told us that he'd had an accident on an ATV, and they were going to medevac him to Lexington Medical Center. So we were about 20 or 25 miles away, so we jumped in the car and started heading for Lexington Medical Center. And before we get there, Pam gets somebody from the family where he was at on the phone, and they tell us that we ask how he's doing, and they say he has a head injury. His breathing is labored.
We think he's going to be fine.
We think he's going to be fine, but they're going to medevac him to Richmond Memorial. And with Pam being a medical social worker, she knew then, so something is.
It was trauma. I knew it was trauma for them not to take him to Lexington, a local county hospital.
Yep.
And I knew it was the absolute worst. I knew it was a severe head injury, neck or back. I knew it was severe for them to take him there. And I said, pray, Steve, just pray really hard that he's going to be okay.
From Lexington, we went on to Richmond Memorial, and we got there and went running in the emergency room and told them who we were and what was going on, and it must have been maybe 5 minutes. They come out and got us, said that the Life Reach helicopter is still at the scene. They hadn't left yet.
When you put your feet on the floor in the morning, it's right there to greet you that he's not here today.
That night of his visitation, we stood in line we got there, it was like 6 to 9, and we got there probably 5:30, and people lined up, and we stayed to midnight. I always say, as a parent, kids growing up, they come with a scrape on the arm, a scrape on the knee, and mom and daddy can always fix it. And you stand as a parent and you can't fix this.
We needed to see something positive and life-changing for other people, you know, positively life-changing for other people through this. And that's, you know, the first day that we went up there and we had testified, and then we sat in the gallery as it was on the debated on the House floor. And a House member from the Low Country, he's no longer, he wasn't in it. He finished his term out that time and he left. But he basically slaughtered us as parents on the House floor. You know, where were Chandler's parents? I am so sick of these sentimental bills coming on the floor, and you know, and I'm thinking, I'm trying to make change, positive change for people. I'm trying to save children's lives here, you know, and you're telling me I'm an awful parent and I was neglectful. I mean, when we got to our car, you know, Steve looked at me and said, "What are we doing?" And I said, "What just happened?" And here I am, a social worker, and I felt like the most neglectful parent on the face of the earth, you know, and I said, "Steve," I said, "just wait a minute." I said, "Just wait a minute." And I started naming children that we know and love. And I said, "They're still here, and they deserve to be protected. And people like him will not stop us. You know, any bill is not going to save every child's life, but if it saves one child, and if it's your child, it's worth it."
You ask any parent, and they're the best parent in the world, and we don't agree. You know, we don't disagree with that. We, you know,
parents have good intentions
parents
for
have
their
good
children.
intentions, but we need to be educated about, you know, the dangers that our children get involved with them, and you know, and like I say, we know they're here. ATVs are here, so we're trying to do something to educate people and let everybody know the dangers and, you know, and the precautions you need to take to, you know, for safety for your children.
It was a sense of relief, but the real relief came when we crossed the thresholds of the governor's door for me. Because I just broke down, you know, at that point. Because I felt like, you know, she was standing inside her doorway waiting on us. And I just felt like I had just ran the longest marathon of my life.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, and you feel like I'm here at the finish line.
People call and say, "Well, you got the bill passed." I said, "It's not signed and sealed."
I mean,
said, you don't ever take anything for granted.
She appreciated the fact that we took 8 years to do what we did, and that without a doubt, children's lives will be saved through this bill and through this effort. And she said, and that is Chandler's legacy. Make sure you have the right size ATV for your child, you have the right safety gear, and you get the right training for them to ride those every time. If you think about your child, if you look at your child in the age that they are, and you think about their decision making about small things at home, think about putting them on something that can go 50 or 60 miles an hour. It's that training, it's that knowledge and that safety gear that they have, and riding the right size for their age that's going to protect them. When a child is listening to somebody that is considered a professional, it tends to stick with them a little bit more than a parent, when sometimes things we tell them go in one ear and out the other, you know. But when they're sitting, it's just like when Chandler went to hunter safety. My dad was a hunter. I hunted with him. But I was so glad that he had to go through that, since that was a passion for him and that's something that he enjoyed. I knew that he had sat down with a professional and listened and learned the safety precautions during hunting. And so, you know, to me, I was still worried about him because he was a hunter. I didn't want to prevent him from enjoying something that he enjoyed doing. But I did want to do everything I could to prevent an accident.
As parents, we know we can have fun and be safe at the same time. From one parent to another, I don't want you to have to go through the experience of losing a child. It's a pretty devastating, life-altering experience. So please, get yourself familiarized with Chandler's Law. Make sure you have the right ATV, the right safety gear, and the right training at all times.